You're live.
We're live.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, good evening, guys. We've got that first bit out okay. Tonight we're doing Facebook, Instagram, and Karen's trialling something different. It's a live to the YouTube channel as well. This is our second live for our 10th birthday anniversary sale. It's our biggest sale we've ever had, and will probably be that way forever. I can't imagine us getting to a 20th birthday sale. I'd say we'll be retired by then. I don't know, what do you reckon, honey?
Another decade.
Another decade of this?
Maybe.
Putting up with hackers and scammers and everything else that goes on?
Well, I'll clone you.
Yeah, okay.
You can just be AI right.
I'll go and sit under the coconut tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Anyway, guys, this is where you get to ask me a few questions. There might be something you're a bit stuck with. You can also ask questions about our courses, of course. That's what we do these things for. We answer lots of emails, but if you've got any questions, if you're sitting on the fence or anything like that, tonight's the night to fire them through, because like I said, this is our 10th birthday anniversary sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Last week we spoke a bit about what people's New Year's fishing resolutions were, and we had some great response, and there's some pretty interesting things there people are up to. But tonight I'm keen to know whereabouts everyone's got that yearly fishing trip that they plan. Some people two trips a year, others 3 trips a year. So I'm just keen to know what's your favourite fishing destination that you'd like to head to, whether you're going this year or not. But we'd certainly like to hear some of the places that you guys would like to get out to and have a fish. For some of the ones that we've been to, we might be able to help you out with some of the logistics or let you know what goes on in those areas. Righto, we've got some questions.
For a start, can everyone hear us?
I think everyone can hear us. If you can't, guys, just someone let us know. But also turn the volumes up on your phones. We're inside tonight. We're away from the cicadas, planes and frogs. So you should be able to hear me for a change.
Ronnie Farron said, hey guys, how are you going?
Hey Ronnie, how are you, buddy? Hey, that reminds me, I'm trialling out a bit of new stuff shortly. And on the tackle side of things, Ronnie, my mate, he's the custom rod builder, does all my rods. He's built some really nice Palmarius blanks. They're top of the range stuff though. It's, pretty, hexy price of course, but that's what
He's got some cheaper ones.
Yeah, let me get to it. You always butt in, I tell you.
I'm all live.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, Ronnie's also come out with some rods that we've been using in the last 6 months. He calls them his solid series. They're jigging rods. They work just as good as the $800 and $900 ones. And yeah, Ronnie's hoping to retail them for around $350 depending on what you want. So give him a call about those. I've used the blanks, they're fantastic, and I think I'll be kidding myself out with a few more of them and putting the $800 rods on the back burner. But Palmarius have also come out with some cool little split ring pliers. I don't know if you can see these, but they're really beefy on the end here, and they've got like an extra big lip, and for opening up split rings they're good. You just, once you get them on there and hold it, that they stay open with the tiniest little bit of effort. So like I say, I've still got to use them a lot more. Ronnie's just given them to me. But if you got any queries about these, Salty Dog Custom Rods, and if you want to know more about his solid series of rods, get onto him as well. Righto, so we had a question before about a transducer, did we, honey?
Yeah, but you asked people about where they wanted to go.
Oh, okay, yes, as well, yeah, of course.
Mark said he loves going up to Port Macquarie with the family every Easter school holidays. I've
Cool.
got a big black Jew with a 1.0 true turn fishing for bream on the breakwall at Port Macquarie.
Did you?
Yeah.
That is a pretty arsey catch.
It dragged me around. I thought I was going to lose it, but I finally got it in, and then I didn't know what to do with it because
It was too big.
it was too big.
There you go.
Tezza said he's checking in from Brizzy.
G'day, mate.
Gary said hi from Harvey Bay.
Hey, buddy.
John said he wants to head to Hinchinbrook at the end of August what would be the best lure for barra?
End of August, just coming out of the colder months, you'd be looking for patches of warmer water on the flats, so mostly shallow divers that time of year. It depends on the tides too. If they're the massive tides, you won't be doing much work in the holes and that sort of stuff, so I'd probably aimed for having a little bit more tidal movement and fish the flats with shallow divers, like our Skull Blazer. It's perfect. That's where I basically use them all the time up there at Hinchinbrook. They're basically like a gold bomber on steroids, so to speak, but you can find them in our shop. Great barra lure.
Hey Ryan, I saw you at the rock wall a couple of days ago. This is Coops Fishing. I saw you catch that barra at the end, then I got a 92 centimetres right after.
Yeah, so I went down to Cardwell to do a masterclass. Actually, one of our masterclass prize winners. Everyone that's in our community goes in the draw. We pick out a couple each year, or I get to go out in your boat and run through your sounder and whatever else you want to know. We sort of run through it. It's usually a 4-hour kind of thing. And I went down there the other day, had some guys that had never caught a redfish before, and out of their boat, it was a 4.5 metre boat, so you want to catch an emperor or an Annie out of a 4.5 metre boat. So we were pretty lucky. I went out and showed them how to find some wonky holes, and within about 8 minutes we found our first one, and they had 3 nice reds up in no time at all, so they were pretty stoked. But they learned a hell of a lot too for the morning. So that's what I was doing down in Cardwell, and yeah, I did had a couple of fish on, smaller fish, and including some GTs. But what happened to me on the morning was I was only fishing sort of, I don't know, 50 minutes or an hour or so. I flicked out my lure right in the honey hole, and I've gone, oh, you know, if there's a fish sitting there, it's got to hit that. The lure no longer hit the surface, and it was smashed by a giant barra. I don't know, it was over a metre. I can't exactly say how big it was, but it was a big fish. It was at least 95, put it that way. And the moment the lure hit the water, it must have landed right on his nose. He's just smashed it straight up, and he didn't quite get it properly, but at the same time that he smashed it, within a millisecond there was a 6-foot bull shark climbing all over him. I'd never seen anything like it in my life.
Bang, bang, bang.
You think you've seen it all? And it was just like bang, bang, bang. It all happened so quick. Although I think he might have been lucky. I think he might have got away from the shark, and I think he more or less blew the lure back in my face when he boofed at it. So I'm probably lucky that I did miss him in the long run, because I reckon that shark would have been straight back on him, unfortunately. So many of you do know we have a massive issue with whaler sharks in Northern Australia, but anyway, we won't go there this time. We've been there before.
We have got an impoundment barra module, because pretty much every time you go down to the break wall, you've got a really good chance of catching a fish, and often you do. So we've done a whole big module in Barra Basics, impoundment barra module, plus, what am I talking about? Land-based barra module, plus an impoundment module, plus a night module. All these things have been added since we launched the course, and it's at the same price as it was when we launched it in 2014, even though it is now the most comprehensive barra compository, I don't know, on the planet.
Closet. Yeah.
Plus a decade of questions and answers.
Yes, our Facebook study groups in our courses, they have search functions. You can get in there and search all kinds of things. There's endless amounts of extra information where we're breaking things down a bit more and that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's plenty in there. It's not just the course themselves. There's so much more learning to have in the Facebook groups.
Just a couple more days to go at the bargain price.
Yeah.
Scotty said, "G'day legends, great to see you again on Facebook. Any recommendations for a good set of quality lip grips?"
I had those. I don't really like using the metal ones too much, because I've seen what people can do to the fish's mouths when a fish wriggles really hard. So I have had the plastic handled ones. They were, I don't even know the name of them, but they were... there was
Drop
a
them
there was
over the side.
I didn't bloody do it.
No, I know. Last trip.
Yeah, but I've had them for so long, and they've been such a good set of grips. I can't remember their name, but I'm sure they're a Wilson product. So yeah, just Google Wilson fish grips, and they may still have them. So I've got to go and find another pair. Actually,
Well, traditionally you never used them. You never used a game.
no, I only use them when the hooks are across the fish's mouth. I generally 90% of the fish I handle by hand. I don't use grips, I don't use nets, I don't use anything.
Because you can turn them around so much quicker and get
That's
back in the water.
exactly right. It's the only time I really use those grips for when there was, say, a popper wedged across the mouth of a big trout or whatever it be, you know. That's when it's a bit harder. Yeah, it's a hook issue. Yeah, you want to be able to grab the fish safely.
Brock Hawker said Sound Skills 2 has been great so far.
Awesome, mate. Glad you enjoyed it.
What he's going to do with Sound Skills 2.
Yeah, he's a bit of a barragun now too, isn't he?
On the
Yeah.
Sunshine Coast.
No, I think Brock might have moved.
Oh, he's moved.
I think he's gone to Darwin. He's in Barra Heaven now.
Oh my goodness.
I think. Don't quote me.
So let's jump over to YouTube. It's the first time we've streamed live on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
We've got that all happening at the moment.
So it could be a technological nightmare in a minute.
Graham Bishop said, I hear you loud and clear. I just bought Finding Finger Mark for snapper down in Moreton Bay and can't wait to get stuck into it.
It'll give you a whole different perspective of looking for demersal forages, mate. And might take away some of the older traditional ways of fishing for snapper and stuff down there. But it'll give you a whole new perspective of things to go and try and look at. So it's helped a lot of anglers worldwide for many different species, that course. So if there's a universal fishing course, it's Finding Finger Mark because it applies to a wide range of species.
And they're catching 70 centimetre plus barra and bigger in Moreton Bay. And in fact, one of our students won the Garmin Little Ships Club competition. Him and his son took out just about everything.
Snapper, not barra. You said barra.
Oh, sorry. On snapper in Moreton Bay.
Yeah.
So Finding Finger Mark and Sound Skills 2 are a deadly combination.
Yeah, the boys
if you
done
want
really
to
well, didn't they?
catch good fish
Yeah.
in that area. Scotty J said, I went on holidays to Singapore went into a local tackle shop to ask them what the local fish they target, and old mate told me barramundi. I couldn't believe it. I will take my gear next time.
Barra occur in quite a big
India?
area. India, in
I
Goa,
think
Sri Lanka, parts of Sri Lanka,
in the
Malaysia.
near Dubai even. They go all
Yeah.
the way around.
In Japan, they're called akame, although they're slightly different there.
Not the same.
Their tail, instead of having that slight convex sort of thing, they more or less come down pretty much flat and almost curve the other way. But the rest of the
They're
fish,
still same latex.
yeah.
They're cousins. They're not exactly the
they're
same
cousins. They're not exactly identical, but 99%. Yeah.
So yeah, we were shocked to see how far around they go. And I think we've got a student. We've got some Indonesian students.
Yeah, we've got some Indonesian
I don't
students.
know about Singapore.
Singapore, yeah, a couple of lads up there.
Christopher said, "Hey mate, what lures would you recommend for inshore reefs around 16 metres of water chasing reef fish? I've tried vibes and plastics and the odd jig, but no luck."
For 16, was it 16 metres or something? 20 odd metres?
Inshore reefs
Inshore
around
reefs?
16 metres chasing reef fish.
Yeah, well, vibes and that should work. It might have just been a bad day, mate, but I'd stick with it. I use the sinking stick baits, which is our pillager, which is in our shop. But it's the same kind of thing. You use that where you'd use vibes and other plastics with jig heads, those kind of things. Most fish on those inshore reefs will take a wide variety of lures like that. So I'm surprised that you've just been a bit unlucky, mate, I think, and just got to put a bit more time in. And yeah, just keep trying. Try different times of the tide than when you were there last time. Or if it was really neap tides, go back there on larger tides and see if you can still find the fish and present lures and that to them then. So it's just a matter of changing things up. When you find fish in a situation, can't get them to bite, and you want to build your knowledge on your own kind of thing, it's just a matter of working those patterns out and trying different times of the tide and different tidal phases. So that's one way you can start to build on your knowledge of when they're going to be there and what sort of tidal movement makes them disappear. So you've got an idea of how those kind of things tick on that particular area.
Mark McGrath said, if you're ever in Tassie and my boat's rebuilt, I'll take you out for a fish, mate.
Cool. We tried last time, but we got COVID. Yeah. Swam with the seals.
No, Tassie.
Sorry, Tassie.
First, then we went to East.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for sure.
Really enjoyed Tassie.
We did.
Down there was amazing.
And just about every day we were there, it blew 25 to 30 knots. So we looked at a couple of fishing charters, but didn't work out, did it? No.
But
had a good time though.
Get to see an aurora, which was the reason.
Yeah, it was one of the best ones ever.
Very happy. Fishing with Lawrence, active target, or Garmin live sight tips.
Probably that's something I am going to film for Sounder Skills too. I've just been waiting for the deeper water technology to be released, which it has now, so that I can make a full module on it, both the shallow and deep. But that's something that'll be going in the course, yeah. But can't sort of give away too much on that. But I mean, there's a lot of tutorials you can find on LiveScope. It's no real secrets. It's just learning how to get the best quality picture out of it, really.
Well, I think the difficulty with some people with the LiveScope stuff is you mainly use your other methods to find the fish, and you just use that to observe them. LiveScope,
yeah, exactly. LiveScope's not going to find you any more schools of fish. That's where you're better off keeping your side and down imaging and that sort of thing. LiveScope is more of a tool so that you can watch the fish on the spot and how they react and to each different lure and where they move to. Sometimes they'll spook a bit and they'll move, or if they're on the move around the place a bit, it's up to you. You can always put it in perspective mode and chase them around and follow them, like some people are trying. But you've got to be on the ball and constantly chasing them around to do that. But I don't replace it as with any of the other functions as far as it comes to finding fish. That's for sure. But yeah, it's a great tool, very good tool, very observational.
And you haven't used the Lawrence active target, so you can't really comment.
Can't really comment on the active target. No. All I know is Garmin brought it out, and everyone seems to be really happy with the LVS 34. Everyone says it's still the clearest on the market. So.
Well, I remember when we first used it. It was like watching TV. You're watching fish chase your lure.
Yeah.
It was the middle of winter. They weren't on the tube, but it was lots of fun.
You could see what they responded to. As far as colour and tone on each different day with the water, different colours of water and sunlight and no sunlight. Allows you to put a few patterns together, actually.
I'm struggling to get my sounder to read at speed above 10 knots. Sometimes it will read at 27 and other times it won't. I have tried getting the depth and angle right with the straight edge and watched your video on it. We've got a YouTube video on how to get your transducer to read at speed. He's got a Lawrence HDH with a Yamaha UB67 longboat, searching for wonkies around the Whitsundays. Okay,
so it'll work at certain speeds sometimes, but not others.
On a longboat.
On a longboat, and it's a Lawrence trijuicer. So with the Lawrence transducers, the trijuicers, they do, I know a lot of the time we say around most skimming transducers or the 3-in-1s, they do like to be around about that 4 millimeters under the line of the hull, the bottom of the transducer. They're designed for that flat bottom part of the transducer to be skimming across the surface. You don't want it right down, sticking down a couple of inches under your boat. That's just going to create drag and probably rip it off and create heaps of turbulence onto the face of the transducer. So realistically, they call them skimmers, so they're only supposed to be around about that 4 millimeter. But the Lawrence ones they're a very rounded kind of transducer. They actually do work a bit better at speed when you drop them down. So try that one around about 8 to 10 millimeters below the line of your hull, instead of say 4 millimeters as you would with most other brands. So give that a try first and see how that goes, because that could be the issue straight up, without having to dive into too much. And also, if it's doing it some days and not others, it could just be the day. Each boat's a little bit different. The more a boat porpoises, the more it creates a bubble or a wave that then shoots through underneath the boat. And on those particular days, it gets to the transducer and creates just a little bit of an intermittent black spot. Breaks in transmission, so to speak. So that's what can happen as the weather gets choppier for some boats. It throws more rubbish onto the transducer and you get more of a broken picture. Complete glass off, you get beautiful flow onto the front of the transducers and you don't have any issues like that at all. So that could be the two things to have a look at, mate. Try dropping your transducer down a little bit and also just make note of what it's like each day that you go out and just keep an eye on that. So the rougher the weather, in really rough weather, no one gets a brilliant picture. There's things you can do. There's different ways to assess spots in relation to rough weather to get a good picture. But yeah, you're never ever going to get that real perfect picture in rough weather.
Rusty said he's noticed that not every wonky hole holds fish. Need a bull shark fishing comp to help bring down the numbers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not every wonky holds fish. Some that might have been a little bit mismanaged by the people that find them are obviously not going to have fish on them. That's why we always tell people, don't even give the coordinates to your best mate. Keep them to yourself. Get your own little portfolio of them together. And you just move around them and take one here, one or two there, that kind of thing.
Well, it makes it easy
to we went to an area where I've sort of found wonkies nearby, and we started looking the other day and found one straight up. And it was loaded with fish. And I drove past one that I'd previously found years ago, and I thought it had gotten out. It was one of those marks that got stolen out of my unit once, and I thought it had been completely flattened. But I went over it, and it was fully repopulated, so it's been left alone. So it was stuck with nannies and that again too. So they will repopulate. You've just got to give them time, but treat them right in the first place. That's the most important thing.
Stephen said, I've bought a couple of sound skills courses off you, but I haven't had a chance to watch them yet due to work.
That's all right, mate. You've got them for as long as we've got the website up, and you can revisit them as many times as you like. Yep.
And all the bonuses that we add, you get access to that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Have you ever spearfished, Ryan?
I used to be a mad spearo when I was younger. When I worked on the mackerel boats and done a little bit of aquarium diving, aquarium collection, and on the marlin boats. And I used to love my spearing. I'd probably speared 400 or 500 times, I suppose, up and down the reef, and until I had just one bad year. I had that run in with the tiger shark at Lizard. It came up in amongst all the whalers, and the very next time I went in the water, which was like 8 months later, because that put the wind up me a bit, I got hit by 2 oceanic whalers. One of them bit the corner of my flipper, and the other one took my trout and spear, and that was enough. that was a really close call. I nearly got munched that day, more so than the incident with the tiger. But I haven't been spearfishing since that day, that second run in. So it was 2 in a row out of 500 times spearing, and yeah, I don't know, you kind of get a little bit older and you wake up and think, someone's trying to tell me something here. Yeah. So I've got a brand new railgun sitting in there that Rick Patul gave me when he had aim right, and I haven't used it. So my young fella's getting right into it, but I am being a little bit careful with him. Don't go swimming off deep drop-offs out in the middle of nowhere like some of these fellas do. But I don't want to see him become a statistic. But if he wants to enjoy it up in the shallows, around the bommies and all that, all well and good.
Right, we've got quite a few questions,
yep.
So we might just have to...
Let's keep going.
Keep going. Ryan, quick question. New moon, yes or no for impoundments? I'm doing up my framework and you only mentioned full and quarter. It's the first hit out since Barra Basics, so he's hoping.
Yeah, well, we talk about that in the night video, the night module.
Maybe jump that question in the study group.
Study group, yeah.
Because That's what the private study group's for.
Yeah,
For in-depth.
And you can search this private study group, mate. There's probably been a fair bit asked already about night fishing and all sorts of things related to it. So, yeah, just you can search that.
In impoundments. Was he talking about night fishing? No, he was talking about impoundments, wasn't he?
The new moon.
Oh, new moon.
Yep.
Yes or no for impoundments? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do barra get lazy when their water temperature is high?
When the water temperature gets very high, if it doesn't suit them, just like when the water's cold, they'll move and do something different to get out of the way. So when we see water on the flats get over 33 degrees, the barras don't really like it that much. That's in this neck of the woods. Up in the Northern Territory, they would be probably accustomised to it being another couple of degrees warmer. So they might be able to bear 33, 34 up there on the flats. But as soon as you get that here after the low tide on a stinking hot day, there's a lot of scenarios that we normally target them on the flats where they just won't show up. So you've got to have a few things in your favour. So when that happens, we just go and look for some slightly deeper opportunities and see what the fish are doing down a little bit deeper that are away from that super hot water that's been warmed up on the flats.
Michael on YouTube said, I recently saw a large metre plus barra in a creek around Cape Trib. It was closed season and the big barra were rubbing against each other. Looked like breeding behaviour. Have you seen anything like this?
Rubbing against each other?
Yeah.
No, probably just in an aggregation mode for some reason or other. But usually when they're spawning, they're all swimming around and carrying on, and generally you'll quite often see, if they're doing it in dirty water, you'll see the plumes of dirty water coming up from underneath, like greener water coming through the brown. It's them swirling around and carrying on. But when they're hugged together tight and not moving around, mate, they're just usually in aggregation mode. They do that a lot in winter time. They fan their tails towards the sun a bit to get a bit of warmth. But in the summertime, no, they don't usually do that when they breed, that's for sure.
Hi Ryan, I've done a few courses regarding Garmin 8412. Would it require a module and or different transducer for fishing in 120s? How much better would it enhance the capabilities? Thank you. That's Tim Ford. That's
a couple of ways you can go there. The 84 series will take the GD51, which gives you your super low frequency side imager, which is great for out in those really deep waters. 100 metres of water, you can still see 170 metres either side of you. That transducer also has a 600 watt medium frequency element in it, and it's very good. I mean, you'll still see the bottom in 500 or 600 metres, but as far as good fish recognition goes, you can use them to 300, possibly 350 metres, depending on the water in your area, temperatures and all sorts of things like that. So that comes with a single trijuicer called a GD51. It's a deep water side image, a deep water down image, and like I said, 600 watts medium frequency 2D, good to around 350 metres. So you can put that transducer on there only. It's only a single frequency though, the 2D. You won't have two, it's only got a single. The other alternative is, if you want to keep running the GD51 for deep water side imaging, you can then get yourself a GSD 25 black box, which takes a 1 kilowatt dual frequency transducer. So you can put a low, high, wide on there, which gives you a low frequency with 1 kilowatt, which is, if you want to eventually get into deep dropping, to sort of 600-700 meters of water, you'll still get good fish recognition with that power and that frequency. And then you've got the high wide for back up in that 100 meters of water or so, for really good clarity, in the high wide. So that's the two frequencies on that one, and it won't clash with the medium frequency that's in the GT51. So that would be an ideal setup. So the GD51's still plugged into your orange pin port, and then a GSD 25 black box networked to your sounder, and it's running the 1 kilowatt 275 low, high, wide. So that would be a pretty good, very, very good offshore setup.
Bird's Nest Fishing said, I haven't had a response for a few lives now. We do try and get to
We try to get to everybody. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
I am monitoring 4 different devices at the moment.
Yeah.
But if you've got a question,
She can't.
I haven't seen a question from you, but just whack it in again.
Yeah, mate. Just whack it in even in the chat, just to remind us.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I've got multiple things going.
Yeah, we don't get to everybody, unfortunately.
Well, we try to.
Yeah.
Gary Hart said, "Hi guys, do the Wonkies get down as far as Fraser Island?"
Hey Gary, yeah, mate. As far as Fraser, they do, and that's kind of where the coastal sediment wedge ends, and you get around Fraser, and you got the shelf starting to come back in close to the coast, so there's not a lot of sediment wedge for the Wonkies to spring up through. There are some that have been found south of Fraser, between there and Moreton, but they're minimal, and we don't promote it there because we don't want people chasing a needle in a haystack, and that's what they become when they get down to those areas. It's not to say that there's none there at all, but we don't want to send people on a wild goose chase as much as we can help it.
Hi guys, I'm on the Gold Coast. I'm new to fishing, but my kids are mad about it. Looking to buy a sounder. What do you recommend the easiest one to use?
Easiest one to use?
Just do Sounder Skills 2.
Sounder Skills 2. But yeah, no. To be honest, Garmin have, I am affiliated with Garmin. They've got some awesome products. I love their gear. They have the 95 SV UHD 2 model. Now, that is a brilliant sounder, especially for what it's worth. You can go a bit cheaper and look up the Striker series, but yeah, head to your local dealer and go and have a look, and it all depends on your price tag, mate, and where you're fishing, or if you're going to be fishing inshore, if you're getting into fishing, you're probably going to be using mostly shallow water transducers, and the GT56 would be perfect. But yeah, go and have a look at them first. Your 95 SV UHD 2. Absolutely brilliant, but if it's still a little bit too pricey for you, you can go down to the Striker series and have a look at those.
Jeff said, do you know the winning lotto numbers?
That it would be nice. I wouldn't be sitting here. No. Yeah, how good would that be?
Greg said, I'm new to Barra Basics. When fishing rock bars that run parallel to the river, are they fished as rock bars that are across the river? If so, advice would be appreciated. That's one for the Barra Basics study group.
It is, but the answer is no. You don't fish it as you would one going across the river, no. Okay. Totally different, yeah. It's more of a ledge situation.
Dump that in the Barra Basics study group, and we will tell you exactly what to do. Glenn McKay said, hey, g'day guys, I'm keen to finish Sounder Skills 2 course and put it all into practice. I'd love to know if you've ever fished wonky holes out from Seaforth Mackay. No, I haven't fished any out from Seaforth. We did go down past Mackay, but we didn't get a lot of chance to look. We were restricted with bad weather and a bit of a breakdown with some battery issues, so we had to get into the marina and get that sorted. So we didn't get a great deal of time to really have a look around the Mackay area. I was talking to some students down there though. They've got some really, really big ones out wide there, and they're just loaded with fish. But as far as the ones closer around the islands, we did find a couple of smaller ones on our way through, but I just didn't get a chance to go on a proper hunt and look down all the likely areas. Yeah. And there's people in the study groups that have caught good fish on wonkies and Mackay, so yeah, but I just haven't fished any or found any off Seaforth yet. Do you know if wonky holes are common in the Torres Strait?
Yes, they are up in the Torres Strait. That's where part of the plateau is. It goes all the way up to New Guinea. Definitely, they will be up there. They're also around in the Gulf in certain areas, around Mornington Island, the Vandalin Islands. There's some near Groot, and then as you get up towards Cape Wessels again, they're the areas that I do know of. Where they are. I don't know about so much over off Weeper yet. We haven't sort of heard a lot of stuff coming from that area, but yeah, you'll be surprised where they'll pop up.
Are they firing at the moment because of all the flooding?
Yeah. I mean, there was one patch we ran over on our way to Lizard a few weeks ago, just after the floods, and there was a spot there I had marked. It had 4 entrances on it. It was like a hole that had 4 holes, and when I went over the area, there was about 70 holes. So all that area had obviously had so much pressure on the water table that it just found other weak spots to fly through and create holes through the seafloor. So, yeah.
Hey mate, how do I get into the draw to get you on my boat?
Just be part of the community, mate.
Yeah,
we just
sign
take
up on the website.
sign up on the
To the
website.
newsletter or to one of our free trainings. We've got free
Yeah.
training.
Yep.
If you have a look at the free training tab,
And
find
just
out for one that you like.
Part of our community, you just get our blogs and that sort of thing, and you get notifications of when we have sales. But when we do that, you know, we give people the option to opt out of the sales emails, of course, if you want to.
You took 2 guys out on a masterclass 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And they've been 18 months trying to find.
They've been 18 months to try and catch a redfish, and
8 minutes.
8 minutes we caught them 3 redfish. The boys were wrapped. I thought I had a magic wand there somewhere.
You do have a magic wand. Brandon said hello.
G'day, mate.
Saying hello. Oh yeah, that's great.
G'day to everybody.
We've already answered his Cara popped me that one.
Mm-hmm.
Just pop that in the study group, Greg, in the private study group, and you'll get a far more comprehensive answer.
Yep.
Rob said, listening from Semaphore Park, South Australia, just up the road from the Grange kiosk. I need to wait. We might have met Bob at South Australia.
Yeah.
I need to wait till the end of October to get near any Barra and their friends at King Ash Bay.
Yeah, Bob goes up there.
And you know, quite a few people have done Barra Basics, even though they live in southern states, because it tells you when to take your holidays, where to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can pre-plan stuff.
You can pre-plan.
That's the best thing about it.
And quite a few guys that have done lots of golf trips have gone back and pre-looked at their previous trips and gone, oh my God, we were in the wrong spot for the big fish.
Yeah. But they usually get it right on their second go, don't they?
Just have a look at our reviews page and you'll see what happens when they after they've done Barra Basics. Michael Keane, totally off topic, but is Mood Swings a Riviera?
No, Mood Swings is a Blackwatch 40, mate. Yeah.
What's the closest wonky hole you've ever found from shore?
Well, we have other things we call sinkholes, and they occur not too far from estuary mouths you see in shore today. They operate on a similar type of principle, but you don't catch big reds off them and that sort of thing. Some will have barra in them, some will have finger mark in them, the closer ones in, but they're not what we call a true wonky hole as such. But the closest wonky that I have found that I've caught redfish on is in around 14 metres of water. So that's the closest, and about 3 mile off the coast. But yeah, a lot of them are a bit further than that though. A lot of them are in that, 22 to 28 metre sort of country, and then you get some deeper ones again on the other side of the sediment wedge.
Bruce Morris said, I will share a memory. 2002, I went on a charter with you off Townsville. I wanted to catch trout and nannies. Everywhere you pulled up and told us what was down there, and that's exactly what we caught. Trout, nannies, mackerel, and we could still see Townsville. I couldn't believe it. I still tell people about that trip.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's just like anything, I suppose. If you've got your head stuck in a sounder for years on end, you soon work out what's what.
Ever found wonky holes out the backside of Maggie?
Yes, I did.
On that trip.
I had a lot of them back in the day. Cyclone Yasi kind of brought a bit of an end to many of them because that's where the biggest waves were. So the percussion from 12 metre waves in 20 to 28 metres of water just destroyed the bottom, and all the Halomedia mounds are all gone, all the coral isolates were gone, all the wonkies were gone. A number of years later I went back down there, just went out with a mate and had a look at some of them. Most of them were still closed at that stage, although I did find a big area of cluster wonkies kind of straight out from Townsville in the areas where we used to find them. But as far as the nice big ones separate by themselves where they used to be, they still haven't made their way back yet. And that's what Cape Bowling Green was years ago too, where all the billfish were. That was all a massive area of wonky holes. And it was the holes that held all the bait there, the yakkers and the herring and all that. And they've basically filled in at Yasi as well, and there's never been a billfish seen there again. The guys fish more closer to Cape Cleveland these days, just trying to find scattered bait schools. So it's amazing what Mother Nature can do and how it can change things.
Just moved to Rockhampton about 6 months ago. I still use brim gear as I have no luck with what you see on YouTube, but I still have a habit of southern lure fishing for flatty. Is this wrong?
You can fish for what you really want, I suppose. But if I was going to chase flatties in the rocky area, maybe you're better off going out the front there a bit more on the sand, some of the beaches and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, there's enough tackle shops down there to help you out with a little bit of local knowledge, mate, if you want to start getting into barra and threadfin. And we've got our courses as well. But yeah, moving up and getting into something different is always a little bit tricky, I guess, to not knowing exactly where to take that first leap, and not knowing the fish as well as the species that you know from where you just came from. So it's all a learning curve again, mate. I guess if you've gone somewhere, you've got to start from scratch pretty much, and yeah, it's just a matter of working through it. And go and see the local tackle shops might be a good start. They might be able to point you in the right direction, show you the kinds of lures and the outfits, that sort of stuff.
Jace Whiteside said, "Hey Ryan, can I find wonky holes inside of the brooks, or should I be looking past the brooks and Cape Sandwich?"
Not much. Yeah, there is some inside the brooks. Unfortunately, there's a massive green zone there, mate, and they're between the brooks and Eva as well. But once again, they're in a massive green zone. And there's heaps in the green zone on the eastern side of brooks as well. We used to have them on the northern side, outside the green zone there, but they're the ones that haven't sort of blown through yet since Cyclone Yasi. Well, I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. I haven't been there for about 5 or 6 years for a look, so they could all be open again now. Who knows? Or opened up nearby. It's just one of those things, mate. I just got to get back to some of these areas and have another look. So, but yeah, as far as inside the brooks go, yeah, there's not really much at all, mate. There's sinkholes back in the bay further, Missionary Bay and top end of the channel and those sort of places, and around Gould. But yeah, not really any wonkies that you can access inside the brooks.
Going back 10 years, 90% of the fishermen, when going deep sea fishing, used overhead reels. I've noticed more and more going back to traditional egg beaters. Is this because the quality of the egg beater has gotten better over the years? Oh,
definitely. There's some really good quality spin reels, or egg beater, out there now, and cranking them up with some good heavy braid. They've got some really good drag systems on them now, and sometimes fishing overhead is a bit cumbersome. You can, if you've got an unbalanced rod and reel, you can chop and change all over the place, which means it's harder to wind. You're not gaining the line. Whereas with a good heavy duty boat rod and a big egg beater or spin reel, yeah, your retrieval's so much faster, and because they hang underneath, you don't have to worry about the thing moving all over the place on you.
Gravity helps.
Gravity helps.
I can't use an overhead.
No, and so yeah, I actually prefer using a big spin reel myself, actually, for that style of fishing.
Dwayne said, "Where are you from?" Cairns.
We're from Cairns now, but we were based in Kabul for 10 years. We had to get out of there because we can't even get the little boat out there. It's full of mud. We've got a council that won't cooperate. I won't go there. More political stuff.
Mark said, "Do you think you'll be getting any more caps soon?" Well, we haven't ordered them yet, hence he's wearing a Garmin cap.
Yeah, we're actually going to change the material.
Yeah, doesn't fade.
Yeah, so we're looking at these ones actually. So yeah, not just yet, mate, but we'll be getting some more in.
Cameron said, "G'day legends, I run On Your Boat Adventures out of 1770 and also started a tackle company called Dirty Tackle. I've done all your courses."
Thanks, mate. All the best with your endeavours down there.
David said, "Why are thread fins so rare at Hinchinbrook? They didn't used to be rare."
They never used to be rare. They were thick as thieves.
Yes.
I think 36 was the most we ever caught in one session. But days of 20, 22, 24s, 26 another day, they weren't that uncommon when they were biting well. And the amount of, we caught 10 or a dozen in a session, all over a metre, all big fish. We used to release a lot, of course, catching them in the shallow waters and not even bringing them on board for photos, just taking the hooks out when you have a big session.
Because they are very susceptible.
Yeah, we'd take a couple, one each guy to take home to eat, and then the rest we'd just let them go. If it was a really big one, we might pull it out of the water and get a picture, but most of the others we'd just take the hooks off in the water and let them go. But yeah, these days, there was some netting issues and things that happened at Hinchinbrook a while back.
Netting.
There was some illegal netting going on there.
Netting.
And legal netting.
And the sharks?
And the bull shark, the increase in the bull sharks has made it pretty hard to get a threadfin to the boat. So, and we're watching them run them down in the wild as well, which is something that we've never really seen until recent years.
And it could get worse too with the banning of netting.
I know the banning of netting of gill nets sounds great for wreck anglers, but at the moment we all know the shark problem that we do have. But when you do remove those nets, you're also removing about 600 tonne of juvenile shark a year. Or you're not removing them, actually, they're staying in the system. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to put two and two together.
Josh, do your courses help with fishing far south coast New South Wales?
Finger mark will help you, mate, and of course the sounder course. Once you know your sounder inside out, and you can actually become a much better fisherman without doing any other courses.
If anyone's doubting how good the courses are, go onto our website, look at reviews. We've got about 800 in there of guys just like you, beginners, advanced, young, old, kids, you name it. And they are shocked, even though they've been using sounders, some of them for 30 years. It'll really take the guesswork out of it, and some of the fish the guys are catching, it really is. So that, coupled with finding finger mark,
it's a good all-round fishing course no matter where you are.
General fishing course, really good.
Yep.
And it's not like a fishing show, it's a structured framework with modules to take you through. So
yeah, it's a fishing program.
Yeah, it is a program. Raymond Lafferty said, "Who is the better looking brother, you or Ian?"
As soon as you said Ray's name, I knew there'd be something coming along those lines. It's got to be me, eh? Yeah. What do you reckon?
Yeah, baby, of course.
Yeah, of course it's me.
Even though he's like 8 years younger. Yeah. Are you selling those cast nets again? I need a replacement. It's the best cast net I ever purchased.
No, unfortunately not. We got stitched up a bit with the freight going through the roof during the time it took to get nets backwards and forwards to change things and get them right, And the time that took, the freight went through the roof, and we promised them at a certain price, and we sort of, we didn't really make a whole lot out of them. So
because you wanted them a little bit heavier, it kicked them over into the next postage bracket up.
Yeah, and it wasn't much heavy, it was just that tiny bit to help them spread a lot better into the wind and that sort of stuff, without killing someone's arm. Had to try and get it right, We
didn't think that through.
No.
Michael Fox said, "Hi, you're legend."
G'day, mate.
He's on every one of our lives. I know, because I recognise the name. Mine works heaps better being lower. Oh, Paul, I'm not too sure what you're talking about now.
That might be transducer.
Ian Moody, depends on the rum consumed as to who looks better. Watch that marlin behind you. It's speared through the wall. What's the story behind that?
That one. That one.
We didn't catch that
No,
one.
we didn't catch that one. That's a replica of one about 380, 400 somewhere there, I suppose.
And someone commissioned it and wanted it expedited, and the guy dropped everything, made it, and then he never contacted him back, and we were just lucky enough to ring him and say, hey, I want a marlin sort of jumping out the wall in this angle, and he said, it's
I've
going
got
to take me 2 years to make it for you because I've got such a backlog. And then 2 weeks later he rang me back and said, this guy won't pay me, do you want it? And we're like, yeah.
So, all right, we'll grab it.
Yeah, we do.
He does an awesome job, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
The detail
Yeah.
in just the colours and
it's insane.
so yeah, it wasn't ours. Is this live? Give me a yes, Ryan, Leah and Mick. Yes.
Leah and Mick, yep, we're live. We're real.
We're real.
We're not fake, and we're not scammers. You got to do that these days.
Someone said the second time through must be the course they're talking about,
Yeah.
because they are very comprehensive and all your knowledge in them. So
You can't walk away from
can't-
something and then expect to remember everything.
No, that's
That's why they're
it's
better off online. Yeah.
So you can go back and do.
I mean, I used to do sounder master classes on the water, and we either you'd just do a tuning session, or you'd go and teach someone the ins and outs of that as well as tunes. There was different prices, but I was getting so many phone calls afterwards. People can't remember this, can't remember that, and it's just like.
And you can't. You don't have access to all the different scenarios. It took us over a year to film that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There is rough water, deep water, shallow water.
You can only teach people so much,
Yeah.
and whether they're inshore or offshore, and that sort of thing in like a masterclass session. But online, you've got the whole lot there, and you've got it to go back to
it's
and back
all
to and back to.
neatly in
Yeah.
different sections. So if you are looking at 2D, you go to the 2D section. If you want deep water, look at the 2. It's just so easy, and it really works. We know that. Just look at our reviews page.
Yes.
Wayne Keane, mate, I have 2 sounders, one new Humminbird and older Lawrence. Can I put the 2 transducers together, or better, one each side of the motor?
I'd be looking at probably going one each side of the motor. Forget about the old wives' tale about you can't put a transducer on the port side transom. I've been doing it for years, and several other people have now too. So it's not actually an issue whatsoever. So you can put them on both sides. Better off spreading them apart. Yeah.
Have you ever got a top water barra?
Top water barra? Yeah, heaps over the years. In the early days, we used to go and use frogs and fizzes and all that sort of stuff for them. And in recent years, well, I haven't done really much barra fishing. Not in the last couple of years, but yeah, I used to enjoy catching them on stick baits and that sort of thing. We used to use stick baits in certain scenarios where the Popeye mullet would be, because the Popeye have got that action like a stick bait and they're on the surface. So we used to, where we'd see the Popeyes in certain scenarios, that's when we'd break out the stick baits around the same size as them.
I found other questions.
More questions. You got 3 platforms going here
I
now.
found another little question mark.
You're building a rod for your back.
What are your thoughts on the Daiwa Monster Mesh rods?
Sorry, mate, I have not used them. I'm sorry. There's so many products out there. Yeah, I don't go wandering around tackle shops all the time looking at everything that's come out, but there's lots of good tackle on the market now. And honestly, I've gone back to custom. Like I say, Ronnie builds all my stuff. He was building it 40 years ago, and he's building it again now.
Well, you don't have charter clients using them anymore.
Yeah, the reason why we never used to use custom rods on charter was because they're easier to snap, and some of them are back in the day they were mostly graphite, then the graphite composites, and they're a bit harder to snap these days than they used to be, but they will still snap. Yeah, so I used to give the charter clients a good quality, not custom, but a good production kind of rod, more or less. Yeah.
Somewhat earlier, and Mick Zabick have written, a Daiwa Master Mesh, I reckon they're great. I got an overhead one for 5 years now, caught everything on it, tuna snapper, etc. So there you go, there's the info.
Yeah, I have heard of them, but I haven't had one in my hand. I've never seen one. Yeah, can't really comment on
What's
that.
your favourite best producing tide or moon phase for the Hinchinbrook area?
It depends on what you're fishing for, and it's not always down to the tidal phase. You can get the dark makes and the makes up to the full being totally different from month to month as far as bite sessions go, because there's so many other things related to it. Is how do certain winds cool the water, and on where does it take that water on bigger tides in relation to smaller tides? Does it deposit in regions that affect certain species? Do you get sudden water temperature changes because of it? The barometrics as well. So there's a lot more into it than just a tidal phase. There's never one particular one that works better than another. I've noticed, sometimes both sets of tidal phases in a month have fished really well, and there's been other times in the past where both sets have failed, and of course one's better than one month, and then it's the opposite the next month. So there's a lot more, not so much deep water, but shallower inshore waters, there are a lot more triggers that can turn fish on and off. Yeah.
And well, that was the thing with charters. You were doing charters from 7 till 4 every day, and you've got to catch fish no matter what the tide or the moon phase or the business. Otherwise, you'd only be going fishing 3 times a week.
So we had to learn everything: what the fish did on big tides, what they did on small tides, what they do on the tides in the middle where it's just enough for them to leave holes and stuff. Where do they go?
Wind direction.
Then how do they travel?
Barometer.
Yeah, when they're moving up and down the river, where's the best place to target them then?
Floods, rain, shine.
Yeah.
How to get your liveys at 7 a.m. every morning, no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's what's in the courses.
That's it.
And that's why they're really so comprehensive, and that's why they don't take that long to do. It's only about 7 hours, but we pack it in, and then you go back to each section and put that into your local area.
Yeah.
Chasing Barra in Noosa, don't get those big tides. Any recommendations on moons, above or below, or tides, ebb and flood? Everyone's fixated on it, aren't they?
Yeah, generally the falling tide, and at places like Noosa, you got very clean water. You're probably better off heading up towards the lakes and that there, and looking for some of the shallower streams that run through there, the channels, and getting them at night time, particularly if they're up behind like a bit of a sandbar and that sort of thing, where a lot of bait fish will get. So a lot of the fishing around Noosa and those cleaner water areas down that way is a little bit better at night time. So that's about the best tip I can give. And get into your surface lures.
What lures do you recommend for barras in soft plastic?
Soft plastics, the Kitech Swing Impact Fats have been a pretty good lure for me. I've tried lots of other plastics and paddle tails. I mean, many of them work to a degree, but that's just been one of my most consistent ones. Them and the curly tails, or Berkeley curly tails, they work really well as well.
Yeah, they do, in that mustard colour.
Yeah, the
favourite.
mustard, baby shit brown.
Baby shit brown.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think about live scope in salt water and depths?
I mean, live scope's great. Of course, it's a very observational kind of tool. You can see fish when they're following your lures. You can see on dark days or bright days what colour lure they're reacting to the most. You can get all these little bits of information out of them by spending a lot of time with them too, mind you. And you can also use it to follow fish around, as we mentioned a bit earlier. But a lot of the stuff that's on the market is mostly for shallower waters, and however, Garmin have just brought out recently the deep water version, the LVS 62, which we are taking out shortly to get some footage on it, because I am going to be doing a added module. We've got bits and pieces on live scope in the inner circle part of Sound and Skills too, but I was just waiting for the deep water stuff to come out before we made a full module on it. But the deep stuff's great. It's certainly shows you schools of fish moving around. You don't see the shape of fish like you do with the LVS 34 and the ones that are with the higher frequencies that are meant for shallower waters. You can see the shape of things, but the deep stuff you can't. You just go back to like blobs, that sort of thing, because of the scale and the lower frequencies required to get to those depths.
Cameron Weir said, I'm watching Facebook on my phone and YouTube on the TV. So good, just a slight delay. It's taken all day to set this up. Thank goodness for Stephen, our videographer, because I wouldn't even be able to work it out.
No, we've never done YouTube before. This is just an experiment.
Your mum said, this is your Uncle Jeff and Aunt Marie from Buffalo. Very nice show. You make fishermen out of wanderbees.
Got some relatives over here at the moment. They'll be up here shortly, so we'll get to catch up with the rallies from the States. Yeah.
Have you seen the new Shimano reels with the LCD screens that can display what's on your sounder? Lucas.
No, I haven't seen that. No.
Wow. How do I set up the Striker Plus 4, Luke?
How do you set it up? Mate, there's a whole bunch of tuning things. There's transducer placements when you're attaching it to your boat. There really is quite a lot in it, and tuning them and that sort of thing. Well, that's all in Sound and Skills too, really. So, and to go from start to finish, there's a lot to talk about. Yeah.
Sound and Skills 2 is the way to go if you want to set up, tune, interpret. Your sounder. Yeah.
And anyone who haven't done the course and they're going to go out and buy a sounder, make sure, if you don't do the course, make sure you find out what transducer you need first. Because a lot of people will go and buy a unit and realise, I've got an inshore transducer, but I needed an offshore one. So, just make sure you get the right goods before you buy something.
Well, actually, quite a few of our Sound and Skills 2 students say, I wish I would have done the course before I bought a new sounder. A, because I bought the wrong one, or two, I wouldn't have changed at all.
No.
I just didn't know how to use the one I had.
Sometimes they've got a good enough sounder. You just got to learn how to use it. Yeah.
Really, really fine tune it.
That's right.
And so it tells you the truth, because lots of people think they're seeing things and they're not. Sound Skills 1, it's $20.
Yeah.
Go and do that. And
the 3D world on a 2D screen.
Yeah.
Creates a few illusions.
It creates a few illusions, exactly right. Scotty J said, I came across a website called Bathy Maps. Looks pretty good. It has a subscription service for underwater maps. Are you familiar with it? Is it useful for finding wonky holes?
That question's been answered a fair bit in the past. You can get the same kind of information on a lot of your relief shading charts and all that now. And like all the relief shading kind of charts, it'll only show you the major riverbeds. So it really only shows you about 10% of the areas where you'll find wonkies. And of course that's probably the areas where everyone's looking now. So there's a lot of tributaries and that kind of thing where there's no evidence on those charts that they actually exist. And I've done a little thing on that in our Wonky Holes group. Doesn't always show you everything, the relief shading. Great for like isolated rocks, little bumps and bits and pieces, especially when you get out to the areas where the sediment wedge is thinned out. But as far as wonkies, no, it doesn't show you that many at all. If you look hard on those, where some of the high definition parts are on those charts, you can see like what appears to be like pits in the bottom. That's just where the hydrographic vessel or whatever it was that mapped them in more of a high resolution. When a boat rocks like this, you'll see the black lines on side image, and all that is on those vessels. You'll see like lots of little black lines either side, and it looks like pits in the bottom, but it's not. So, but yeah, they're great charts. They're all good charts, but just don't show you too many wonkies.
Did we answer Rob about chasing barra in Noosa?
Yeah.
Did I get the big tides? We answered him.
I think so, yeah.
Hope so. Sorry, Rob, if we didn't.
Oh, we were talking about Barra-Noosa a little while ago,
Okay,
so
yeah, we were.
yeah.
All right. Do wonky holes exist in the Pilbara region, Carafa area?
They certainly do. We've got some guys over there finding them now.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Oh.
Have a look in the study group.
I never go in there.
I know.
This week is Spency said this week is a 3.5 metre high tide in Cairns. What would you be targeting with this tide?
I'd probably be keeping away from the rivers a little bit. Maybe some of the upper reaches as the tide sort of falls out. You might be okay to chase some jacks when things steady up and everything's out of the mangroves. But realistically, a lot of the time when these tides get like this, we're out the front fishing around the headlands and looking for current collisions on the flats and areas of bait, and a few other bits and pieces. So yeah, that's what I've always done. I've always concentrated outside more.
Braden said, next time you catch up with Ruffy, throw him over the boat for me. He loves a swim.
I'll do that.
Hey Karen and Ryan, did you ever recover from the sandflies at Shoalwater Bay?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the bloody monster bloody things down there, I tell you. You got a gas turbine under each wing. They're huge.
Kurt Amira said, follow the bait, ? That might be in response to something from 10 minutes ago. I'm sorry about the delay, guys. We just get so many questions in and it takes ages to answer them. Cameron said, have you heard of any wonkies off 1770?
Yes, there are. Yep.
And Carly said, how do I convince my hubby he can't read the sounder right? His fish catches are probably good.
If he keeps coming home with no fish, I think that's probably the number one indicator for sure.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, what's your advice on catching prawns after all the rain? That's from Luke.
Give them a few weeks after the first lot of rains, and or a month or so or more, they'll start seeing a bit of size. You just got to find where they are, and of course they're mostly on the flats and beaches. And not after the first lot of rains. Give them a month or two, and then and even afterwards for the next couple of months or more, even leading into April, May, you'll still get the prawns on the beaches, and that's generally when they can be their biggest, April, May. A mixture of Queensland school and also banana prawns as well. So it's just a matter of finding the right areas. Usually beaches that are very sandy are less likely, but if you've got beaches that incorporate a little bit of mud or have some kind of mangroves nearby, that's generally a better place to look.
Would there be any sinkholes around Sydney?
Mate, I'm really not sure. I highly doubt it. Deeper water, very little sediment wedge at all, and I don't think that's conducive to wonkies or sinkholes actually. So yeah, down that way, unfortunately, I don't think you've got any chance at all.
Whilst diving, I found finger mark vortexing in a school. What's your thoughts on the reason behind that?
Was it winter time? Don't know. I have seen them do it in winter. They'll actually come all the way to the surface as well. It's just something that they do in the winter months, aggregate like that. You can see like a reddish, yellowish, goldish tinge on the surface if the water's clean. I've seen it twice out near Cape Cleveland in Townsville. I haven't seen it happen anywhere else though. Haven't we
got a photo of them doing that on the sounder?
Trevally.
No, finger mark.
Oh yeah, I have got.
Finger mark.
Cheat
sheet, which is one of the free.
Yeah, do. Yeah.
One of our free trainings.
Black Jewfish will do it as well. It's quite a few fish will do it.
You've got a photo of them doing it on the sounder. If you go to our website, free trainings, and look for the finger mark cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You usually find they do it when they're in like an extra large school, like really big schools, when they do that sort of stuff. And there's quite a few species that do it. And it's mostly when they aggregate and hold up.
Hey Snoopy, time for another challenge with the red barra. Can't wait to catch up soon.
Yeah, buddy, don't you worry.
Hey guys, I've done Barra Basics. Is there a new calendar for Barra? I haven't checked for a while. I hope we've upgraded that, but that's a really good point.
I thought I remember doing one not so long ago.
Well, we've just got to check that
Yeah,
that is
some things get away from us.
upgraded.
We've got webinars to do as well.
Yeah, I know. Lots of things. When you're coming over to the Weeper, I've got a week free at the end of September. That's Ben Saywell.
We'd like to, mate. We'd love to. Getting there, though, might be a bit different.
Okay.
Got a bit of a work here this year. We're making some new products and not going away as much.
Yeah, because we've got our coral trout course that we've been working on.
Yeah, and then we got Red Emperor after that.
And mud crabs with the Red Baron.
With the Red Baron, yep. We'll put him to work.
Yeah. Have you done much fishing around Stanage Bay?
No, not much at all, mate. We did go through there a little while ago, but we were more interested in fishing Shoalwater Bay. But thanks to the trade winds holding our trips up, and 4 times I think we had to change our itinerary, and then we had to find gaps to get into Shoalwater Bay on Nipa tides, and we had to sort of work around the military exercises as well. And I think it gave us 2 days in there in the end, and it just so happened to be 20 degrees in October. The water was just ridiculously cold, and the barras were doing their wintertime thing, and we found a couple of patches, got a few bites out of them, but they were very, very timid. And so no, mate, we didn't spend a lot of time up in there in Shoalwater, or we didn't actually get to Stanage this time. But yeah, we'll put some bit more of an effort in next time, and we might even stay at Stanage Bay itself, take the boat down by road. Yet we'll see. But yeah, we do want to have a bit more of a look around, and especially when the water warms up properly.
I've looked at Cooktown charters. Is it a place worth going? Some of the comments, reviews are semi-average. Mark Moraza. We love Cooktown.
We love Cooktown. There's
I don't know about Cooktown charters, but
yeah, all the operators. Yeah, I don't sort of hear of any complaints, but yeah, no, certainly some good fishing up there, that's for sure.
Johnny said was in winter at Cape Bedford, north of Cooktown, that he saw the
winter. That's when the finger mark do it. Yeah,
yeah. You're under it, brave, aren't you? Eh? No, a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So we absolutely love Cooktown. It's great. Wayno from Mud and Marine. I just stuffed that up.
You bumped the questions, did you?
Bumped the questions.
Now you got to scroll all the way to the bottom or the top.
Oh my
Can't multitask, eh? You're always up me.
Stuff that up. Oh no! And there's like 900 questions still to go.
Well, there's obviously going to be some questions we won't get around to tonight.
Maybe
So sorry, guys. So just keep them for the next live that we do, and maybe send them in to us beforehand.
Just have to hurry up.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me see if I can find this question again. Now I've lost it. My arm's so... I've got such a bad arm. Oh my god.
While you're doing that...
Wait, no, here we go.
Oh.
A lot of my clients ask what's the maximum depth your Garmin side scan to work effectively. Also, I was wondering if you've upgraded your autopilot to the Reactor 40, and how do you find it?
We haven't. Yeah, we have upgraded the autopilot. We have done an update on that. Seems to be working fine. Yeah, it's very switched on, that new autopilot, isn't it? The amount of things you can do with it, routes and all that sort of stuff. It just drives by itself, turns by itself once you program the tracks. It's really good.
Sam was having a lot of fun with it. Ryan's a bit old school. He likes to drive the boat.
I still use the autopilot.
Put it on to go from A to B,
Yeah.
but he likes it to track around reefs and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Well,
He gets real cocky with real...
I like to just be a bit more hands-on.
Yeah. Mark said if you buy sound...
He also asked about the side imaging.
Don't make me find it again.
Yeah.
Maximum depth,
maximum
side scan.
Maximum depth is, well, for GT51, like I said earlier, you can, on the lowest frequency, you can still be in 100 metres of water and actually see around 170 metres either side of you. Now, if you get to around 120 metres of water, that comes right down to around about sort of 50, 60 metres either side, and then in around about 140 metres of water, you're pretty much starting to lose your coverage. Hey, that's pretty good. If you're out in that deep water, especially, not too many people fish over 100 metres, so having the ability to find rocks and little bits and pieces out there, and still out, 150 metres or more either side of you is pretty good. The GD56 side imaging capabilities, 500 watts with 455 kilohertz. Now that the 455's got 500 behind it, you can still use that in water as deep as 50 metres and still have a good coverage either side to around about 60, 70, 80, maybe even 90 metres, depending on your water temperature and particles and bits and pieces.
I remember back in the old day before side scan, you used to do circles, and we'd go somewhere and he'd do circles.
I know. Imagine having side scan back in those days. High frequency.
I know, but it
that
was
amazing.
So good.
You
used to do but I think it taught you a lot not having it, because you do circles and you know where
it made me map out the entire area in here
in your head,
just by zigzagging against the current.
Yeah. And so now, and that's why then side scan came along and enhanced that, and live scope enhances it again. But if you don't have that good understanding, all these modern, you can't. It's very difficult.
It certainly pays to have a good grasp on the underwater world and how to paint a picture out of, just say a 2D beam.
Yeah, and the circles you used to do, and then you'd park the boat sideways with two anchors, because it was before electric motors, and go, right, there's a 102 there, and there's a 105 there, and there's a 30 on this side, 85, and we'd go and catch everyone, and they would be to the
Maybe we would just ask you that day.
That day and most days.
Yeah, that was the day I first met Karen as a client.
Yeah.
Actually, she used to come up when she was doing other things and come to Townsville every now and then take her on charter, and we used to catch some good fish, didn't we?
We did. And when I did my marine biology, and you put a net across and you kill everything so that you know it's there. And then I'd go with Ryan, he'd say there's a 103 there, and that's a finger mark, and that's this, and then we'd catch them, and I'm like, I think we should use him. We don't have to kill anything.
Back in those days, if we had high frequency side imagery, you could go down a creek and do those sort of counts.
Yeah. With chirp, you can even count the herring. Like if you photograph this.
The thing is, though, we can record on our phones now with Active Captain, so you could take the files back to wherever the uni, and you could work out. Okay, well, you freeze that there, and you go, okay, there's 30 barras in that school. That's a school of looks like caddies out there, and there's approximately 100. There's a school of tarpon, over there.
You can count the herring with chirp.
You can, yeah. So just imagine if we had the technology back then.
Well, but the problem is it has to be repeatable, and there's not enough of you. Although now with sounder skills 2, could probably teach people.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark Halpin, if you buy sounder skills 2 and finding finger mark, it's like you buy one get one free.
At the moment, it is.
Yes.
That's what we're saying to everybody. If you're one of these people that have been on the fence, if you don't jump on the sale, you're never going to get it cheaper again, because the prices will be going up.
What's your favourite fish to target for fun?
For fun, I'm enjoying getting back into top water.
Yeah, he has been.
On
the reef, getting smashed.
You heard of top water, as poppers and stick baits, and it's become a big thing in the last 4 or 5 years especially. But it's been around forever, except back in those days we used to call it throwing poppers for big trout. We didn't call it top water. And that's what we used to do back in those days. We used to flick big poppers around, and there was no such thing as stick baits. And we also used to use shallow divers a lot too, catching trout and other things, GTs and all that sort of stuff up on the reef flats. So I'm kind of enjoying getting back into doing a bit of that. Always love catching me big finger mark. I'll always love catching big barra, even though I've had a bit of a spell from it. I will get back into it properly eventually. I nearly got my first metery the other day. I think a bull shark would have nailed it though if I'd hooked it up, because he was on it pretty quick.
Yeah. Have you targeted triple tail much? If so, any tips?
I haven't gone deliberately to actually go out of my way to find lots of structure along the coastlines and actually chase them. But when the opportunity has arisen in front of me where there's a kind of structure on the flats that could house triple tail, we always sneak up to them and have a good look. And
they're so aggressive. I remember the first time
they are the
you said to me, there was a bit of floating around a log or something, and you said, look, there's a triple tail. He goes, you watch him go for this. He said, you never cast a lure in front of a triple tail and he won't nail it.
They are suckers, mate. They are the easiest fish to get a bite out of. They will eat anything at all you throw at them. Yeah.
What now? We're not going to answer this because we don't have time. What do we do about the shark problem in the estuary? There's so many now wherever you go.
Yeah, I know, guys.
We're going to look into this UNESCO thing and maybe write a blog on it and lobby the government to stop being so weak. Getting other people, getting these.
I just can't sit back and watch this shit happen. Honestly, I've been wanting to do something about it for ages now, and unless you have a following,
go too much into it here. But I think we'll.
But in the future, we will
something and lobby some politicians or something, because we need
and
to
get you guys to lobby the politicians as well.
Yeah, we just got to work out the best way to do it.
We'll even put up the points you need to.
Because it seems to me that external sources, even outside our government, are telling us what we need to do with our reef and our water. And a lot of those lobby groups, that one Pew lobby group, are just trying to divert people from the damage that oil tankers do.
It's the Pew family oil company that are funding them.
Yeah, and that's what brought in all the green zones to start with.
They wouldn't bring in all the sanctuaries over in the States because they basically, all the fishermen said, piss off, we've all got guns. And the government said, no, it's not good for the economy. So they come to Australia and they unload all their left-wing, far-left bloody conservationist point of views on our government.
Don't get us wrong.
We're all for sustainability. But they can go too far the other way.
And this shark business where they put all sharks into the one pot as saying they're endangered, it's like all birds are endangered because the dodo was dying out.
That's right.
You can't put everything in the one pot. And then they go and lobby everybody in the cities, Barrier Reefs, all the sharks are dying. It's actually
bullshit.
Not true.
It's actually rubbish.
And
if you're from the big smoke and they're trying to bluff you, do not listen to it. It's all propaganda.
For the gillnet closure to protect the Great Barrier Reef, and you wrote back and said there are no gillnets.
There's no gillnets on the Barrier Reef. They made people down south believe that the gillnets are actually on the Barrier Reef, but they're in
so everyone goes,
the muddy estuary catching barramundi. They're not breaking the coral.
Yeah. So
or catching coral fish.
They changed the message, and gullible people believe it. Peter Pakula did a Between the Lines a long time ago that was very comprehensive, that looked into game fishing. So I can see a sounder class an excellent tool to add.
Yeah, definitely. We've thought about I've done a fair bit of game fishing in my younger days and stuff and that, but we just haven't really put together a course on game fishing as yet.
We might do pelagics.
Yeah, we will do some pelagics. We're just sort of getting all the stuff that I really specialise in out of the road first, and before we make those kind of courses.
Can you give me a Wonky hole coordinate off cans? Thanks.
Yep. But I'm not.
Do the Wonky holes.
Do the Wonky's course. Yeah, that's the best way.
It's so much fun.
If I give one to one person, I've got to give them to everybody.
One. And honestly, what that's like give a man a fish, feed him for the day. That saying.
Yep.
We do the Wonky holes course, and you'll find there's so many out the front of cans.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
That's it.
Cookdown, is it a place that had good places to fish? Yes, indeed.
Excellent fishing.
It's amazing fishing. The reef is so close. It's fantastic. Just a bit windy during the trade winds. Don't go up there during trade winds.
Yeah. Well, anywhere north of the Whitsundays gets a bit windy in the trade wind season. Yeah.
Hey mate, is there a new calendar every year for Barra Basics? Yes, there is. I think Cara just said she was going to put that down.
I think you asked that one before.
Check that out. Yeah. Because we don't answer the question straight away, they put it in again. Sorry about that, guys. It just takes a while to get through them. Fizzes all the way after dark, the best adrenaline rush.
Fizzes, that's what we used to use all those years ago.
What's your perfect temperature for barra fishing?
Oh, for this sort of part of the coastline here, around 28, 29 probably, yep.
Paul said hello from Newcastle over on YouTube. We've neglected YouTube.
G'day mate, sorry we've been neglecting YouTubers.
In the last 2 days I bought the Sounder Skills 2 and Wonky holes. I've been very busy. That's Wayne. Yeah, that's the thing. You can, lots of guys say they start watching it and they get so hooked.
Yeah.
They don't stop watching it. They do an overnighter. They can't stop. It's just like, what? How did I not know this?
That's it.
And that's even guys that know a fair bit. We'll get a GT56. Will a GT56 run with a TM260 on low, high or different frequencies? That's from Craig.
Low, high. You might have a little bit of crossover with the low, high. As the GT56 has a high, wide frequency, but there's only, the interference can be just minimal. Yeah, I don't think it'd be too much of an issue. Because it's the TM260s, I think that's the 6 degree cone, whereas high wide's a lot wider. If there is, you can always set the high wide in the GT56 to a set frequency. So maybe pull it down a little bit lower in the spectrum, in the high frequency spectrum, and then just keep running your 260 on 200 kilohertz. And that's one way to get around it if you are getting any crosstalk. But you might not get crosstalk. Sometimes some people get away with it.
And once you know what you're doing, you don't necessarily, you don't use the frequencies sometimes dead on, like low, medium. You sometimes use medium instead of low, don't you?
Yeah, depending on where you are and what you want to see. If you're looking between structure, of course the narrow beams are much better, depending on the fish you're chasing, that kind of thing. Because this coral trout course is going to open up people's eyes. Yeah, I know, you might say, oh, coral trout, the easiest fish in the ocean to catch. Yeah, you might have pulled up on something that had fish all over it, but 95% of those fish you see on that bommy, are they coral trout? No, they're other stuff. But there's ways that we've got to recognise the trout and areas that you wouldn't even think of to chase coral trout that are actually better than fishing bommies. So, and you don't see piles of fish on them.
No, so not many people know
the conical beams of the 2D hide the fish because of the way they're structured. But we teach you all that, and we show you.
And Sounder Skills too,
but in the trout course we'll show you as well.
So the trout course in conjunction with Sounder Skills 2 are going to make you pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Bird's nest fishing. This is the guy that said we missed his question the last time. What's the first step on getting a shark cull season? Mate,
the first step on getting the shark cull season is getting us to unite.
Yes,
that is what we need. We need a panel.
And with the professionals, the pro guys too, because they've been completely wiped out. And you know what? We're going to be next.
That's right.
Because these,
UNESCO have made 8 recommendations to the Australian government so that we don't take away the World Heritage listing of the Barrier Reef. It's blackmail, and we know what 3 of them are. One's the 1/3 green zones, second one is removal of the gill nets, and the third one is the fish strategy, harvest strategies, which we're going through at the moment. We've done the Spanish mackerel, and we've got nanny guy next, and there'll be species to follow after that. But there are another 5 recommendations, and we can't find them anywhere, can we?
I haven't really looked.
Well, I have. I can't find what they are. But I think one of them.
Get on to Tanya Plebisek. She seems to be up there. Koi.
Of course, they just let them all walk over them. Bloody weak as.
We need to. Yeah, get into it a little
Need
bit
to get
more.
together first.
We haven't
need to
really,
establish.
We try not to be too political and just let things.
Yeah, I know,
run
but you got to be. You got these idiots that just, create all these troubles.
Like the barrier reef.
Hardly conservation.
We are on that reef all the time. I snorkel every day. He fishes for a short time and then we go snorkeling. And we've barely found any bleaching at all. The only bleaching we've ever found, actually, significant bleaching, was right at the front of Cooktown after the flood.
Yeah.
And, you know, those corals might come back. I think they've just kicked their algae out. And they may take them back in. It's just that it could have been just moments.
Yeah. But north of that area, the coral is still stunning.
So it can't be water temperature because
there's coral up there at the moment that it's just, you'll never find coral like it anywhere in the world. Like it is absolute
Finding Nemo reef.
Yeah, it's like what you saw in the cartoon. It is that good.
What's the best moon and tides for finger mark?
Best moon and tides, depending on whether you're chasing them at daytime or night time.
There's a
big run, smaller run, different areas. Yeah, there's a lot.
The finger mark course will blow your mind.
There's a lot involved.
At the moment. Yeah. It's not about moon and tides. So many people just
the
same as they think it's about a fishing rod. You know, I'll get a new rod, I get a new lure. It's going to, you know, change everything for me. It's not true.
No.
What's the best tips you have for barra fishing?
Barra basics. All the best stuff is in there. So I can't give out this stuff. I can't give out. Sorry, guys.
And it's cheap at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, cheaper.
Yep. I can't answer every
Danny
question.
Wellington, put all the things aside. You would have to be feeling pretty good, Ryan, to be able to share all your experiences with others. So congratulations for all the hard work you put in to make it easier for others that struggle. What a buzz!
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it, Dan.
I recognise one of those photos. He's the guy with the cowboy hat.
Yeah. I think Danny got a 114 with me on charter or something. 114 or 117, I can't remember. He got a big one with me one day, yeah.
How many wonkies did you find in Mackay and Percy Island when you came this way, Chase?
Found quite a few around the Percys, in close to the island. Not all of them had fish on them. The couple, the ones that did, that had better fish on them, I hooked up. Every fish I hooked up was eaten by sharks. So, yeah, we had a bit of a bad time. We had a bit of a bad time at the Percys. We just stopped fishing, really. You know, we met up with Jeremy Busby from Busby Moreau, and we took him out for a fish one afternoon. And I went straight to an area, had a nice school of emperor, sitting on this bit of a ledge in 40 metres. Jeremy never used jigs before, so I tied him on a jig and showed him how to use them. The first 4 fish he lost, the sharks ate. So we gave it one more go, and he got one red emperor up just on legal size, but we did lose some better ones. But yeah, we didn't get too many fish to the boat at the Percy, so we really didn't do a lot of fishing. Because when I start losing too many fish to sharks, that's it for me. I'm not going to keep killing fish.
That Instagram goes in and out of connection. Triton tell us hello from the Maldives.
Hey guys, how are you?
Ian Moody said, what do you think about a marlin course? There seems to be a bit of interest with the anglers these days wanting to chase them from smaller boats.
We might do a small boat course on it. Just we got to get it. Won't be this year though. Probably next year.
Andrew, Ryan, why don't you have a rum in your hand while you're doing this?
Because I don't actually drink rum all the time. I do enjoy one away on the game boat, because that's what we kind of grew up with. And I don't know, I just get on the boats and I've got to have a rum. No more than a couple usually. But and when I'm at home here, I don't know, I'd probably have rum and coke when we go out to dinner. That's it.
You don't even have rum in the house.
Don't even have rum in the house. There's a few on the boat though, hidden away.
Is that why he sneaks down there all the time?
Go through the engine room, you'll find all sorts of stuff in there, all sorts of contraband.
Go down there.
Yeah. That's a good place, fellas, to hide stuff from the missus. Straight to the engine room.
Stephen Wolf said, does your sounder course teach you how to set up your sounder from scratch? I just want to set it up first and then understand your course.
Yes, as far as the tuning goes, and then understanding what frequencies do what and all that sort of thing, yeah, mate, yeah. Even though, you know, different brands, the same kind of thing applies, especially to side imaging. Lowrance is a little bit different. They have some auto algorithms with some of their functions, which still is okay, of course. But the reason why I like playing with things a little bit more is you can just break things down and tweak the picture a bit more, like having, you know, your access to, you know, contrast and brightness together, and then you got your filter functions on top of all that, your TVG, depending on your water quality. Yeah, there's so many things, mate. Yeah.
Can you give a shout out to Ryan Dalzell?
Ryan Dalzell, how are you, mate? Got a good first name there, buddy. Yes. Champion.
Bob Rowe said, I just heard the commentary, the sandflies. I got hit badly in October in King Ash Bay. After the attack, I used tea tree antiseptic cream on the bites.
I've heard the same.
It led to a quicker recovery. So
I try
it and put it on the boats and at home.
Yeah.
So there you go, everybody. Sandfly bites. There's the tip.
Yeah.
Tea tree antiseptic cream. I have heard that.
I don't try to get in positions where I do get mauled, but we had no choice at Princess Shoalwater. Yeah.
How familiar are you with setting up a Furuno system TZ-T3, and would you recommend the system? That's Andrew.
Haven't spent a lot of time behind that system. Depends if you want to jump from that to traditional more side imaging. I guess it's much of a muchness, I suppose. It just depends if you want to spend the dollars on that kind of thing, I guess. Whereas you can pretty much get everything out of low frequency side imaging as to what it'll do. But yeah, I haven't spent a great deal of time behind one. No. I've seen a couple working.
Well, you have had Furuno before, but not that particular.
Not that particular.
And it doesn't matter what brand you use. With Sound Skills too, though, it all works on the same principle. So
everything works on the same principle. Yeah.
So you should be right. How did you set up your heavy tackle gear? Mono, Dacron, double, and leader, or leader, run up the Dacron?
Heavy tackle. I'm still a bit old school. The guys are using a lot of mono these days, as far as leaders go. Mono was starting to come in back when I used to do it, but we mostly used to use wire. We used to use 450, 500 pound gal, and we used to run 20 feet of that, sometimes 25, and then either a 15 or a 20 foot double with the snap on the end of it. So that's what we mostly used to run, and yeah, it's good fun, bloody good fun. And Dacron, we used to mostly run Well, there was a couple of skippers, Moody and that, we used to use mono, 130 mono, but to tie the bimini twists in the mono took 2 deckhands, and of course the double is like 20 feet long, so there's one guy here and there's another guy 6 meters down there, and we're twisting it all up, and then you pull it around your body, then you keep taking the twists all the way forward like this, you know, and yeah, it's pretty. To tie a bimini in 130 it takes 2 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Cameron, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. And then we used to use Dacron as well. Dacron's a little less forgiving than the mono, so how we used to hook up the fish was a little bit different. We'd sort of drive the boat forward still and just wait for it to slowly come tight and leave the reels on about 2/3 strike. That was one way of doing it. Mono was a bit more forgiving. You could keep the boat going forward and come tight a lot quicker. So, but each angle, a lot of skippers had, you know, different varying ways of fishing. Some pull up and free spool the fish even. So, just depends on who you're working for. And yeah, I'd done it a few different ways. The way the skipper wanted it done.
Cameron, we said Karen knows more than you, mate. I think you should swap.
She can come and sit here right now.
I only know more about the courses.
Yeah.
Ian Heidke recently did Sound Skills 2 and learnt a lot. I run 7412 with a GT51 and GV620 box with a GT34 for shallow. I did see much on Panoptics. I've been playing with a PS30 and it's really good watching light bait and jigs being taken. Have you got any tips for real view using the PS30 transducer?
The PS30, I stopped using that a long time ago. No, I should just run it in down mode mostly. Although the latest ones, the LVS 32 and 34, you can turn into perspective mode, forward view, the higher frequencies. It's just so much better, mate. So we just used to use the PS30 just in the standard downward position. Really, that was it.
Danny Waddington said, Ryan, I have the latest Garmin but couldn't get the side scan to clear up to read and see the rice images from Barra. Any suggestions?
Probably depending on your water quality, mate. You know, are you using the right frequency in the shallows? If you're looking for Barra, you'll be in the shallows, so you'll need to use the higher end stuff. And also your water clarity, you've got to play with some of your filters to get, on days when there's lots of weed travelling and the water's very murky and a fair bit of current and that sort of stuff.
The boat too fast. I don't know. Have we done this with the sounder courses, Danny? Just flick us an email.
Yeah.
Because that could be too.
Yeah, definitely.
You two should get together with other fishing identities and make a voice for all of us.
We get a breather. That's it. We do. We do want to make a difference for everybody, and it just sucks sitting back and watching all the crap happen. And
we used to, trust the government, didn't we? Now we don't so much.
No.
We used to think they had our best interests at heart. Now we're starting to think.
We're all starting to see through it in many ways.
Do you think they should open green zone reefs and close the current ones open to give them a break? Your thoughts?
What's happened since they did bring the green zones in back in 2006 is it's created a massive displacement issue. You've got everybody in these smaller areas now, and naturally commercial wreck and charter in 63%, 64% or whatever's left. Of course it's going to start having an effect in certain areas, particularly areas closer to bigger cities.
I don't think they should rotate them though. Me personally, as a marine biologist who did my honours in green zones, I don't think they should rotate them because that's where the big fish are residing and the big fish have their babies, because otherwise what's going to happen? I have
no problem with keeping so much closed.
You open them up and then people are going to come in and target those big fish, and then you've got to wait another 10 years before the fish in the other zone grow from, to a big size.
I wouldn't mind it so much if they rotated a certain percentage of them and then kept the bag limits realistic.
Yeah.
That's where it all started years ago. Did you know when bag limits first came out, it was 30 of every species per person per day.
I know.
So could you go out and catch 30 trout, 30 red throat, 30 emperor, 30 nanny guy in a day?
Catch, which was what?
That's what, the black market. The bag limit's never done anything to start with. Didn't stop the black market at all. They had to bring it right down to near nothing to stop that.
Yeah.
So now we've got...
Green zones really work best with adult fish that don't move too much, like coral, trout, barra, that kind of thing. Mackerel's useless. They just swim straight through it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah. Any thoughts on the return of ring netting of mackerel in Warren Bay?
No, it's a topic I'm not really
sure about that.
Sure about that one, mate. But getting back to that other one with the green zones, rotating them and that, I think they could have done something better from the start.
Well, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. So we didn't have to go to the zones closing like they do.
I think Buckley's are changing that.
Oh, we have now. It's all the way things have panned out. It's all too late.
That was supposed to be the final goal, wasn't it? That was the train pulls into the station when we get 33% or whatever it is green zones. Well, no, that was just the train pulling out of the station. It wasn't the train pulling into the station.
No.
That was just the start.
Yeah.
Of all these,
That's right.
This is the problem. Where does it end? It ends when nobody goes fishing.
That's it. Well,
or the bloody sharks eat everything.
That's it. Well, they're problems that are being created by the conservationists.
I know.
It defeats the purpose of sustainability and conservation.
Anyway. We've got
You've started me off again.
some questions, and I want to get through them because I do want to go to bed tonight. Do you think you'll ever guide again?
Mate, I don't think I'll ever guide again. We get a lot of people ringing up and asking, and
Sound tuition.
And then I also get a lot of people ringing up asking to go out and do sound tuition like I used to years ago. But honestly, I just couldn't keep taking several phone calls afterwards. That's why we do the online course, Sound Skills 2. It's and you'll learn a lot more doing Sound Skills 2 than what you will with me on the boat for the day. There's just way too much more.
His brother guides.
My brother, Ian. Look up Ian Moody Sports Fishing. Yeah. He does Hinchinbrook and Townsville.
Getting a new reef boat, got barra boat.
Yep, very good.
Biggest barra?
Biggest barra to the boat for a client is 144. Had a few on around that size, a couple possibly a little bit bigger back in the day, but unfortunately never got those ones to the boat.
Have you seen or heard how old dog Dave and Judy are going in retirement? Actually, I've got to ring them.
No, I haven't heard Dave. Yeah, haven't seen Dave or Judy for a long time.
Adam said, just got a Sound Skills 2, have all sorts of... Just got the Sound Skills 2, have all sorts of fun, have a Lawrence Hock reveal, and can't wait to try it out. Cool.
All the best with that, mate. You'll certainly get your head around it very quickly.
Plenty of sharks in Harvey Bay, he said,
Yeah, lots of sharks down there.
Mark said, it's crap, but the squeaky wheel gets the oil and the greenies have nothing better to do than winch 24/7.
Yep.
You've got jokers trying to wreck our lifestyle here in North Queensland. And, well, we just didn't kind of really realise, how the lobbyists have freaking taken over.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, sharks are bad around here. That's Chase. I've been searching for wonkies but can't find any around Mackay. Hopefully soon. Have you got Daniel said, have you got a barra around blue water Yorkies yet?
No, I've got to put a line in the water to catch one first. No, I haven't been doing much barra fishing in Cairns, mate.
We did go once, but then we blew the motor up. Yeah,
that was the day we blew the motor up. We were going for a bit of a look around the inlet and here and there and everywhere, and didn't work out.
Well, we're very lucky that that's where we blew it up, because we go to some really seriously remote places, and we were a kilometre from the boat ramp. The electric got us back.
Yeah.
It was lucky.
That's it.
Jermaine said, use liveys a lot for barra. See them in the water and around the place and see other people pulling in barra. They just never seem to take my live bait. Maybe I'm just unlucky. What should I do differently?
It's hard to say, mate, unless I see you in practice and that sort of thing.
Try barra basics. We also have some free stuff on our blog about how to pin the live bait.
Yeah, there's tips on our blog for free, that just little things that that it all helps.
But yeah, I mean, we've had students say that too. They've parked next to you and watched you fish. It's a lot to do with the depth as well. You are fishing exactly where that fish is sitting.
Yeah.
They're fishing in the near vicinity. Makes a difference.
There's a difference between putting your bait or lure, presenting them right on their nose, or pulling it a metre or two away from them in dark, dirty water. They can't really see very well.
Well, I remember in winter the first time I went on charter with you, and you said there's 103 there, love. And I threw, it was winter, we were using prawns, I threw the prawn in, and you said, oh, just a couple of feet more to the right. You said it's cold, they won't swim far.
Yeah.
And so I wound it in and I threw a couple of feet more to the right. What I thought, yep, I'm going to hit it on the head, and bang, I was on. We put it on the length measurement, and it's a 103. And I'm just like, my God.
I must have been arsey that day, babe.
This guy's like, no, I went to charter with you for about 8 times. You did it every time.
Yeah, well, you get used to the size of the bladders in relation to your scale.
But exactly where it is, that you have to put it on the nose. And if you're not doing that...
I knew that was metre-long fish. I just kind of guessed it was 103 that day, and it was 103.
You only guessed.
Yeah. I usually get within 5 centimetres, though. Yeah.
You usually get within a centimetre. Although you have lost your touch a little bit the last one we caught, where you were a couple out, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
In Shoalwater Bay.
Yeah, I thought, what's it, 75, 77, 95?
Yeah.
When they jump out, when you haven't seen one for a while.
Yeah. What's your biggest Jew?
Biggest Jew caught by a client at Hinchinbrook was around 133, I think it was, from memory. But they do get some bigger ones down in central Queensland way. They get some 140s and even the 150s occasionally down that way. So.
Finger mark around Cardwell, are they an all year round catch or more seasonal?
They're all year round. In the winter time sees bigger schools of the school size fish, or smaller fish. They can be caught in big numbers during the day, and during the summer months a lot of the larger fish come in from the headlands, and particularly at night time they'll get right up in the shallows and wander along the edges.
Alright, we're just about at the end. I've got one more question and then we're going to wrap up.
Yep.
That's 2 hours again.
Yep.
Should I buy the Wonky Holes course? That's Ash.
Yeah, it depends on where you are, mate. Just go to the sales page and it'll tell you where they exist around the country. If there's a red cross there, there's a good chance that you won't find any whatsoever.
Yeah.
So if you've got them in your area, then yes, definitely grab the course, because they're a great little alternative to many other different styles of fishing spots. And sometimes it can take a little while to start finding them, but once you get your eye in, generally a lot of guys hit the ground running then.
Yeah.
So they
and it's
find
cheap
more.
at the moment.
It's cheap at the moment, yeah.
Ian Heike said, any chance of a Ryan Moody lunar chart?
A lunar chart.
Moon.
Well,
that's our
tide tables. That's how frameworks. Yeah, yeah.
In the courses.
In the courses, yeah, yeah.
Craig Cameron, why have you chosen Garmin?
I chose Garmin because they started bringing out some good technology a while back now, and I kind of knew some of the things that they were working towards, which sort of became pretty exciting, and I wanted to be a part of it. Started using their products, found the menus easy, found them reliable, good displays.
GT51.
Well, GT51, that's for sure. If you haven't got one of those on your boat and you fish offshore, you got rocks in your head, you really do need one of those. And then, they first to bring out live scope, their new trolling motors, the Kraken, they're a piece of work. They just don't do things in half measures, and they've got the best cartography unit in the world. I forget how many people work in it over there. There's a whole hundreds of people. Garmin were the first ones to come out with the old handheld GPSs, remember?
Yeah.
So they've been in the cartography side of things for a very long time. But
Well, that's what that was for what do you call that when you find your way through the bush? Orienteering.
Orienteering.
Anyway.
I thought you were going to say a drunken rampage.
All right, we're getting lots of thanks from people, and
sorry guys that we
that.
can't get you any questions
No,
tonight,
I
but
think we've
you got most of them? Oh, good, cool.
I think I've gotten both. It's just on Instagram, sometimes it's a bit hard because they're so
Yeah.
small, they're hard to see.
But if we have missed
Much
anybody, catch up with us on the next round of
Yeah.
lives,
I
which will be in a
apologise.
few months' time, and
Thank you very much for
coming along.
coming along. We
And
appreciate
our
it.
10th birthday anniversary sale goes till the 10th.
Yeah.
So yeah, get on it, guys. The courses will never be this cheap again,
yeah.
because we have to put our prices back up after this and try and feed our staff again.
Yeah. Well, expenses have gone up and revenue
Yeah.
hasn't.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same for us as everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Oh, Jeanette Karras is watching.
Hey, neighbour.
Next door. You're a bit late to the party. All right.
All right, let's wind her up, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next round of lives.
Thank you, everyone.
Next time. In the meantime, stay safe and enjoy your fishing. That's the most important thing.
Exactly right.
See yous. Stephen go back down the boat, did he?
Not sure.